We all know liminal space is something that emits nostalgia. And in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the nostalgia of our childhood and the liminal spaces in particular involved with our childhood. And first up, I want to talk about birthday parties. A lot of people in their childhood, me included, got invited to birthday parties and had birthday parties. Whether this was at somebody's house, maybe at a McDonald's, maybe at an indoor play center. And these emit a very weird sense of nostalgia. Just having a look at these four images on the screen, we see the grainy effect. But in this image particular, I have an image of what is McDonald's. It has a very grainy effect to it, very vibrant in colors, and the saturation of colors is really contrasted compared to the floor, which is kind of drab and brown. But we look at this little mural of like Ronald McDonald and Grimace and stuff on the wall, and we also got all these balloons on the roof, and it's just the contrast of vibrancy and dullness. But in particular in this image, it just gives us a sense of nostalgia for the early 2000s to early 2010s, when McDonald's wasn't so modern. Because if you go to a McDonald's now, you'll find that it's like pretty modern and just like pretty simple and like grey. Back then, it used to be really colourful, and a lot of the McDonald's did look the same. So when you look at this image here, you're probably getting memories of when you went to a McDonald's maybe in your childhood, back when it used to be colourful. Here we have just a classic little arcade. Once again, we see a grainy image. A lot of these images are going to be grainy, as they are from the 2000s, 2010s, back when the camera quality wasn't as good. But I believe that the grainy effect does add to the nostalgia and liminality. It's not perfect, which I feel like is good. And we can see the balloons, we see the games in the back, the chairs. This is a very classic party kids went to. Would have just been at like a little place with maybe a indoor play center, which I will talk about later in the video. And also a little arcade section, which is very, very familiar. And I feel like liminality is just a familiar feeling. Whenever I see something familiar, I get the liminal space feeling. Here we have an extremely grainy picture, but I believe that it adds to it. Because I believe that if this was like 8K quality and it was taken yesterday, it might not feel as liminal for somebody's childhood as compared to this super blurry and grainy photo. Super colorful as well. I want to mention colors, especially in playgrounds and play centers and people's parties, because we can see that there's so much color everywhere. It's like everywhere you look, there's almost a different shade of maybe blue, maybe purple, yellow, red, everywhere. So colorful. And a lot of color can remind people of their childhood, because childhood for a lot of people was a happier time, and people associate colors with warmth and happiness compared to colors like black, which people might associate more with like sadness or depression. So seeing all these super warm colors can emit a feeling of happiness and warmth, which can in turn remind you of these happy times in your childhood where you were at somebody's party. Like seeing this here, I literally just got reminded of a birthday party I only just remembered of right now after seeing this image. So I feel like that's a super cool thing that liminal spaces can do, or nostalgia. In fact, it can remind you of things that you don't see. And a lot of these indoor party centers look similar. So when you see this, maybe you're going to be reminded of a place that you've been to at a party. School. Everybody's pretty much been to school. And school is like pretty much something that is similar for a lot of people. However, it does depend on the country you were in. Like Australia, America, England. Schools in each of those countries do look a bit different. However, schools in America are probably most portrayed on media, like on YouTube or movies. Like, what comes to my mind is this Diary of a Wimpy Kid. I literally watched that movie so much when I was a kid, and that was a classic example of a school in America. And a lot of YouTubers and YouTube videos do school vlogs. Maybe you've watched them in your childhood too, and the schools do look similar. Schools are also clashing with colors. We can see on the images on the left and the right that it is not too colorful. However, we see the second image there, which is just vibrant in colors. So we have here a little black and white image, super blurry as well. It looks like this came out of a dream, right? People dream about being in school probably a lot of the time, because a lot of the times you'll find that when you do dream, it is about things that are happening to you in your life or have happened to you. So if you're still in school, maybe you might dream about school, or if you are out of school, maybe you might dream about your childhood being in school. And school hallways in America are pretty much similar to each school. So each school looks pretty similar, right? We got the lockers on the right. We got what looks to be the classrooms. We got this really grey everywhere. And I think that's why it's so liminal, this picture, because it is just familiar. Every school is pretty familiar. So you look at this image, you're like, have I seen this image before? Or is it just something that's familiar? Something else that's super liminal about schools is just seeing schools without people. Because when you think about a school, you're thinking about it bursting with life. Kids, teachers, teens, people everywhere, just walking between classrooms, maybe having lunch or playing, doing something. As we see in this image here, we got an exit door and there's no people anywhere. No people in the courtyard outside, no people inside. And what we see here is we see this door has been opened and it's got like a little cone to stop people from getting the door shut. So what we can see in this image that I like is the lack of life. Because if this image was bursting with people, it might look a little bit less liminal, but because there's nobody here, our brain's like, whoa, this is weird. I'm so used to seeing schools filled with people. So when I look at this, why am I not seeing anybody? I feel like that's super cool as well. And school is such a familiar place to everyone. Everyone's probably been to school, unless you were homeschooled. But the thing is about schools, you're going to see them in pretty much a lot of places. Maybe Instagram, maybe YouTube. So your brain will just fill out the blanks and be like, hey, I swear I've seen this place before. Now, I want to talk about a little addition in school. I want to talk about gyms or PE or physical education, whatever you call it. Gym class, PE, physical education. But in particular, I want to talk about these gym storerooms. We can see two different examples of this in these images. And they are so colorful. But I think the reason for the liminality in this is just because it's got such a strong resemblance to, in particular, my childhood when I was in younger school, so primary school, like prep year 1, year 2, year 3. I have so much memories of these store cupboards, and they look so similar. It looks almost identical to these images, because all of them are so similar, just burst with colorful basketballs, soccer balls, hula hoops, cones, everything. And the walls are so drab, like white or grey. It's just that contrast, but they all look similar. So when I look at these pictures here, I'm immediately struck with memories from when I was in primary school that I did not even remember until I saw these images. So I think that's so cool that nostalgia can actually give you memories, and things you didn't even remember, you remembered until you had a look at the image. So that's what I'm getting for that. And I want to talk about playgrounds now. It's pretty much 100% chance that in your life you have been to a playground in your childhood, whether that is an outdoor playground or an indoor playground. Both are very liminal because both are very common experiences in your childhood. We have an outdoor playground here. We can see that little mouth thing at the bottom, but this is taken at night, and I think that adds to the liminality of it. Another added liminality is like the schools, there is nobody in this image. So when you are a child and you go to a playground, you're probably going to go with your friends or your family, and you're going to have other people at the playground too. It's very unlikely that it's just going to be you on your own. So when you see this image here, it's kind of weird because there's no one here. And when you see this image as well, you can see that if you look in the sky, it's pretty dark, so it's nighttime, which is weird because I don't think I've ever been to a playground as a kid at nighttime. At nighttime, you're usually at home watching the TV as a kid or going to sleep early, waiting for the next day to go to school. And it's just weird because it's something that you don't see much. It's kind of creepy, actually. It's very isolated, and it gives a sense of nostalgia. Just looking at all the colors, it reminds me of different playgrounds that I might have went to when I was a kid. We have an indoor playground here. I went to a lot of indoor playgrounds when I was a kid. I always had so much fun with them. And we can see that it's also got this inflatable place, and it's got these rows and rows of places you can climb. You can see a ball pit there in the back. And the colors, for me, is what does it. Most indoor play centers you will find are super colorful. I would find it very unlikely that you would be at an indoor play center that is just black or brown. They're all pretty colorful because when you're a kid, you know, that's what you want to see. You want to see lots of fun, happiness, and color. And this is just bursting with life and color. But this image, there's nobody here, which is kind of weird because when you're a kid and you go to a play center, you're going to obviously like the outdoor playground, go with family or friends or yourself, but there's going to be other people there. So when you look at this image, it's kind of creepy. You kind of feel like, am I being watched from somewhere? Is there eyes somewhere? I don't know. There could be. So I'm just looking at this image now, and I can't see anybody anywhere. But I feel like there's somebody watching me from somewhere. So it's kind of creepy. We have another image. This is creepy as well, of an indoor play center. This is inside the play center. From this image here, this was like a look from outside, but this one is a look from the inside of it. And there is nobody. It's a grainy effect, which adds to liminality like I described earlier. But I feel like that little pig at the bottom there is creepy in itself. Like, why is it looking at me and smiling at me like that? Why is it so happy? It's this saturation of color everywhere that is just giving off this creepy feeling, right? It's meant to give off this feeling of warmth and happiness, but looking at it now, it's kind of creepy, right? Especially since there is low-key lighting, not high-key lighting, so that means that it is dark and not light. But most indoor play centers, if not all indoor play centers, do look the same, you know, bursting with life and color. And so when I have a look at this image, it reminds me of all the times when I was a kid that I went to an indoor play center and how much fun I used to have. So pretty much every indoor play center looks the same. So every image I look at is going to give me memories of when I was a kid. And that's going to be all for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like, subscribe, and comment, and have a good day. Thank you so much. Bye.